Heyo, you're tuning into Toasted Time, where I cook your time with some Reddit stories. Right now, we've got AskReddit, where we get some insight into men who are in marriages but are not truly honest with their spouse. Our first question comes from Teen Dream. Sometimes the things that she says to me in arguments just break my heart. We learned this in our 30s. Don't use bombs that can't be forgiven. I originally listed some examples, but it is honestly embarrassing. It is frigid, it's lasting, and it isn't constructive. Gotta learn it, make a truce, take a break before it gets that bad. Weird thing is that it began right after our honeymoon, like a turf battle. And I'm not proud of this. I've been trying to teach my sister this because she keeps doing this and losing friends. But she doesn't realize that the things she says in a rage aren't forgotten. Keeps losing friends and nearly her fiancé, and isn't at all a forgiving person herself, but she doesn't see why other people just don't drop it. Ugh, I have friends that do that. They get too drunk, too heated over cards, over pool or politics, and they start losing their crap. Next day, what's your problem? Why can't you just get over it? Oh, I don't know. I had someone towering over me, insulting me over a card game. I was pretty shaken, actually. But hey, I'm the drama because I'm not coming around much. I have issues. And then we get a different type of view from someone who has kids or thinking of getting kids. I'm scared of not being able to provide a half-decent life for her and my kids. Life is getting so expensive and challenging. I definitely feel you, brother. I'm scared to even get married because I don't want to go into debt just trying to put food on the table. I'm only 22 and even I can see significant changes from inflation. Oh, by the way, that never changes. It's always hard to put food on the table. It was never easy. Marriage actually makes it easier because you have someone to help out with day-to-day stuff. My wife and I together make one functional human. We don't both have to be functional at the same time. If she's having a bad day, I'm on it. If I'm having a bad day, she's got me. Most of the world, including myself, are spawns from poverty that you and I can't even imagine, let alone have witnessed or experienced. If you find a woman you love and want to start a family, it will be way harder, but it is way better than not having the thing you want. Don't let that stop you. Marriage is a lot cheaper than being single. And relax, bro. This is the least amount of money you will ever make in your life. It all goes up from there. I keep the ceiling fan on at night because she farts in her sleep and it is so bad that it wakes me up. The ceiling fan helps circulate. Get an air purifier. The carbon filter works wonders. I have one. It kicks into higher gear whenever my wife or I pass gas. The air quality indicator goes from good to poor, and the fan goes from low to turbo. Now, whenever it kicks into high gear, we each immediately look at each other. I'll always own up to it, and she'll blame the dog. Edit for those who are asking, it's a Winx 5500. In my line of work, we occasionally have to enter confined spaces. As such, we are required to wear air quality and gas monitors to make sure that there aren't any dangerous pockets of C2S or CO2 gas lurking. The number of times the guys will trigger the alarm by farting whilst wearing these monitors, and then giggle like schoolgirls. And then we get an answer from a dude who likes his solitude. When she asks to go out with her girlfriends or away on an overnight with some friends, she thinks that I'm upset, and I'm not. In reality, I'm praising the Lord for a day or two alone. I'm looking forward to the once a month, if I'm lucky, I want to go hang out with my friend Sarah. Aw, shucks, I guess I'll go play cards. I'd go play cards once a week if I could. Go play cards, dude. Maybe she thinks that she can't see Sarah once a week because you'd be lonely. You're potentially fridging up both of your happiness because you aren't communicating your wants. No kidding. Sounds like from his comment too, thought the rest of the squad would have a hard time getting out as well. You guys need to form like a coalition of bros and demand one night a week of social free time. And then we get an answer for a weird thing called car chicken, which we will learn about right now, starting from Sternson. When I go grocery shopping, I often buy a fresh rotisserie chicken thigh for myself and wolf it down on a park bench on my way home like a homeless caveman. I have no idea why, but it is my little me-time ritual. My wife and I have a chicken wings place that we love, but it's like an hour away and we always get like 16 pieces meal for our family. But I started ordering a little 2-piece for myself as well to eat on the way home, forgetting that the email receipts go to our family email account. My wife one day was like, "So, how was your car chicken?" And I'm like, deer in the headlights look, lol. Hey, if you're making the trip, you deserve it. I do deserve my car chicken. For me, it is car fries on the way back from the wing place. Gonna have to try this car chicken thing though. And I'll have you guys know that after firm consideration, I'm also going to have to try this car chicken at one point or another. Anywho, our next answer comes from an annoyed dude who goes by PMC06. My wife loves to rearrange the kitchen. Maybe once a month she'll buy a new container that she puts something in and put that container in a place I am not familiar with. And when I'm cooking, I'll look for that thing I need and can't find it. It really bugs me because 1, I can never find anything, and 2, I have to constantly ask my wife where things are, which makes me look dumb when all I need is a spatula. My 75-year-old Turkish office landlord here in USA and I once had a hilarious conversation. He asked how married life was, and I said, great if she'd stop moving my crap. And his wife had done this for 50 years too. He went into a comical tirade and firmly believes that women do this on purpose subconsciously to feel needed and to make us need them, to ask them for help. And it made sense. And he said she went to Turkey for a month once and moved his clothes around, his home office stuff, and legit hid things so that he'd have to call. That was his final confirmation that women do this on purpose. This is very funny. I wonder if there's a hint of truth to it. I'm the opposite, and when I move stuff around, say in the living room, I then like to proudly show off the changes to my husband and have him come look at it while his eyes likely just glaze over. Ooh, let me tell you, before we finish this off, I have to say I completely agree with the whole entire, it is annoying to have to look for stuff that people moved in the kitchen. Like, just leave the stuff where the stuff is and don't move it to A, B, and C position. Like, just keep the knife where the knife belongs and everything else as well. Because, like, it is so annoying to try and cook something and all of a sudden you look for the thing you need and you're like, where did it go? What happened to this object? It just went kapoof and is no longer there. Anyways, continuing on. Now, before we continue on, I just want to ask that if you are enjoying this so far that you consider recommending this channel to friends and family or just people you know, cause the help for this channel is greatly appreciated. So, to continue on, and now for the final question from Gaynasex. And our first response is cheating. A good long-time friend of mine from high school, we're in our 40s now, cheated on his wife. His wife is the nicest, sweetest person, whip crack smart of an amazing mother to their kids. I haven't spoken to him since, and every time I think of him, I just don't want to know him at all. Like, how could he possibly be a good person to have done that to her? I still just do not understand. I think people who do this underestimate or just choose not to consider the deep emotional impact that cheating has on their partner. They act on impulse to satisfy their urges, figuring they deserve it and the other person won't find out, not for a moment considering what a nuclear bomb such an action is for a relationship and a family. My current girlfriend got cheated on 7 years ago and didn't date for those 7 years until she met me. She said that her and I just clicked and that I gave her hope for good men. Freaking hell of a weight to carry. And the next response is on the same line of, thinking, just that there's a comment underneath that I really wanted to read. It's hard to forgive someone who shatters your heart with betrayal. I found out my wife had been having a remote affair via video chat with some dude in Canada she met playing a mobile game. I decided to keep it to myself and just try to win her heart back since I knew she would run off if I confronted her about it. She was aware that I knew they talked, but she didn't know that I knew they were more romantically involved. And things were going great, and she told me that she wouldn't talk to him anymore, but she was still talking to him. She thought I didn't know, and we were at a really great point besides that. And she told me that she was going to delete Discord and change her number. Keeping the secret was just hurting me, so I told her I knew about the affair, and she left me. She says I should have just let it go, said that I had already won her back. I told her that I was hurting keeping that secret, and said I believe that she must have felt the same way. And you know what she said? She said that she had no regrets about the affair, wasn't even sorry that she cheated. I had already planned on forgiving her for it and moving forward, but I just cannot forgive someone who isn't sorry. Ouch. She sounds like an atrocious person. Sorry you went through that, friend. Thank you. Things went from hugging, kissing, and squeezing love to cold transactional child handoffs overnight. I'm still grieving the loss of my wife's love. Sorry, bud. Went through that, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. You'll get through, just one foot in front of the other. And we now get a story of a drunk driver. A friend of mine passed away by him drunk driving years ago. It wasn't until after the funeral that I learned his girlfriend was in the truck with him. She was declared brain dead and pulled off life support the next day. If he had only gotten himself passed away, that would have been one thing, but his selfish decision got a girl passed away over absolutely nothing. I miss Aaron, but I can never forgive him. If she knew he'd been drinking and got in the truck anyway, you can only guess, but people make choices too. Sorry about your friends. He had a blood alcohol over 0.2 something. Hammered drunk. She was completely sober. Even if she offered to drive, he would have refused knowing him, and he just had to sleep in his own bed that night. Yikes, that is a morbid story, but you know what? I don't agree. I don't disagree with these people's choices of what is unforgivable. You know, we got cheating, that seems pretty unforgivable, and then we got drunk driving. That is also just as unforgivable. So, you know, I don't understand people who drunk drive. I have no sympathy for people who drunk drive. That is such a stupid decision. You hear it everywhere about how stupid of a decision it is, and yet people still do it. I have no sympathy for people who drunk drive. I just don't. If they pass away, screw them. I don't care. They died. Congratulations. Like, I have no sympathy for people who drunk drive. It is such a reckless and stupid decision to make. Anywho. Well, that is about it for those stories today. But if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to become a fellow bread bag. But aside from that, I post 2 new videos every day, so I hope to see you next time toasting session. But until then, have a good one.